All right, let's dive into something totally different today. Leather sorting.
Leather sorting.
Yeah, leather sorting. We've got all these career guides, insights from RoleCatcher, the whole 9 yards. And honestly, it's way more interesting than it sounds.
Really?
Yeah, really, think about it. Ever wonder how your leather jacket gets that perfect texture? Or why your bag is so supple? It doesn't happen by magic.
Okay. I'm intrigued. You've got my attention.
Good. Because it all starts with someone who really knows their hides, someone who can look at a piece of leather and see its potential. And those someones, they're called leather sorters.
Leather sorters. Okay, so walk me through this. What does a leather sorter actually do all day? I mean, is it really more than just looking at leather and deciding what's good and what's bad?
That's what I thought too. But it's so much more than that. We dove deep into these sources, and it's way more nuanced. Think about it like this. It's not just separating the flawless from the flawed. It's about understanding the nuances of each and every hide.
Nuances like what?
Well, imagine assessing leather for not just those obvious flaws, but also subtle differences in color, the thickness, the softness, even natural markings, like scars or wrinkles on the hide.
I never even think about that when I'm shopping for like a leather belt or a new wallet.
Exactly, we just see the final product. But those imperfections, they tell a story about that hide and how it can be best used.
So it's not as simple as, oh, this one has a scar, toss it out.
Nope, not at all. That scar. It might not work for a high-end handbag, but it could be perfect for a vintage-style jacket. That's what these leather sorters do. They're like leather whisperers, using their expertise to match each hide to its ideal use.
That makes sense. So a thick hide might be perfect for a sturdy belt, while a softer, more pliable one would be better for a pair of gloves, right?
You got it. Our source even mentioned that these imperfections can sometimes make the final product even better. Like, it adds to the character, the uniqueness of it.
So it's about knowing when an imperfection is actually an asset.
Right. But to do that, you need some serious expertise.
I bet. They can't just hire anyone off the street to do that.
You need to know the different grades of leather, the types of leather, the tanning processes.
It's like they're detectives of the leather world, analyzing clues to uncover a hide's hidden potential.
Now you're getting it. Makes you appreciate every leather good just a little bit more, doesn't it?
It really does. I'm starting to see leather in a whole new light.
I mean, imagine if you had, like, a leather jacket, but each panel was totally different. Or the color was all off. Not a good look.
Yeah, not at all. A
Yeah.
good leather sorter makes sure that never happens. They're all about that consistency, that quality control.
Yeah, that's what they're there for. Okay, so we've established leather sorting. Not as simple as it sounds. It's a skill, it takes knowledge. But what about building a career out of this? Is it just like sorting forever? Or can you actually move up in the world of leather?
It's funny you should ask that, because it's not a dead end at all. Not even close. RoleCatcher, they outline this whole career path from entry level to senior positions, and the higher you go, more responsibility, more expertise.
Okay, so walk me through that. Like, what does that upward trajectory actually look like?
So you usually start as an entry-level sorter, right? You're focused on all that hands-on inspection, classifying the hides like we talked about. But as you get more experience under your belt, you move into this more like analytical space.
Analytical, how so?
Well, think about it. Recording data on the leather quality, spotting trends and the defects. You might even start suggesting improvements to the whole sorting process itself.
So it's not just about the individual hides anymore. You're starting to see that bigger picture of quality control.
Exactly. And that's where those leadership positions come into play. Senior leather sorters. They might lead entire teams of sorters. They train new hires. Some even oversee all that inspection equipment, the maintenance, all of that.
Wow, so you really can build a career out of this. You start with what seems like a very specific task, but it can lead to all sorts of opportunities.
Exactly. You got it.
And speaking of opportunities, you mentioned earlier that the leather industry is changing, like big time. Our source mentioned a huge push for sustainable practices, eco-friendly everything. How's that impacting leather sorters?
It's massive. I mean, think about it. Traditional leather, kind of hard on the environment. So now there's all this innovation happening with the tanning processes and trying to use less water, fewer chemicals, all of that.
So they're not just sorting any old leather anymore. They might be evaluating hides that have been tanned in totally new ways.
Exactly. And that is a whole other layer of complexity. They might be dealing with different textures, different smells, even imperfections you just wouldn't see with the old tanning methods.
So it's like the leather itself is changing, and the sorters have to adapt right along with it. That's pretty interesting.
It is. And it's not just about sustainability either, right?
Yeah, what about AI? The robots coming for the leather sorters' jobs.
Our source mentioned that too, actually. And look, it's a valid concern, right? AI is changing everything. But I don't think it's about robots taking over completely.
So it's not the end of the leather sorter as we know it.
I don't think so. It's more about working together. Like AI, great at scanning for obvious defects, sorting by specific criteria. But when it comes to the nuances of a natural material like leather,
Like, is this hide truly high quality? What's its best use? That kind of thing.
exactly, that still takes a human eye, human touch, human experience. So yeah, AI is changing the game, but it's not about replacement, it's more like collaboration.
So instead of putting them out of a job, this technology actually makes their skills even more valuable.
That's the way I see it. Now you need leather sorters who can not only do the traditional stuff, but also work with the AI, interpret the data, make those judgment calls that machines just can't make.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So let's say someone's listening to us right now, and they are completely fascinated by the world of leather sorting.
Yeah.
Like, they want to apply for a job tomorrow. What should they expect? Like, what kind of questions would they get asked in an interview for a job like this? We were looking at these sample interview questions from our source, and some of them are pretty surprising.
Oh yeah, they definitely don't mess around. It's not just about knowing what leather is. They want to know you can handle the job.
Like, one question was, how would you handle sorting large volumes of leather efficiently? Sounds simple, but I'd be stumped.
Right. It's not just about speed, though, that matters. It's about organization, how you approach the task, making sure nothing gets missed, even when you're under pressure.
It's like they're trying to get inside your head, see how you think. Another one that threw me was, describe a time you had to troubleshoot a problem with a piece of leather equipment. I'd be calling tech support.
See, that one's clever. On the surface, it's like, do you know how to fix a machine? But it's really about problem solving. Can you figure out what's wrong? Can you handle the hands-on stuff?
It's like those questions are designed to reveal those hidden skills you might not even realize are important for a job like this.
Exactly. And those skills. Problem saving, thinking on your feet, paying attention to detail. That's what employers are looking for, no matter what the job is.
So true. We've come a long way from thinking about leather sorting as just, well, sorting. It's meticulous, it's technical, it's even got this whole sustainability and AI angle now.
It really makes you think about all those skilled trades out there, even with all the automation happening. Craftsmanship is alive and well.
Big time. And as consumers, knowing all this, how does it change how we think about quality leather? It's more than just a fancy term now.
Right. It's not just marketing. It means there was someone, a leather sorter, who made sure that leather lived up to that promise. Think about it the next time you pick up a leather jacket, a wallet, whatever.
That soft leather seat in your car.
Exactly. Someone, somewhere, checked that hide, graded it, made sure it was the best it could be for that specific use.
Adds a whole other level of value to something we probably take for granted.
Absolutely. Appreciation. That's what it's all about. Appreciating the skill, the tradition, the craft.
Well said. And on that note, next time you see a beautiful leather good, remember there's a whole hidden world behind it, making sure it's the best it can be. Thanks for exploring that world with us today.